Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Bilchan.
I'm Nimikung.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Step 21 Echoing Footsteps of a Tale of Two Cities, Book the Second, Golden Thread.
As.
Ah.
A Tale of Two Cities, Book the Second, Golden Thread. Charles Dickens. 21 Echoing Footsteps. A wonderful corner for echoes. It has been remarked. That corner where the doctor lived. Ever busily winding the golden thread which bound her husband, and her father, and herself, and her old directress and companion, in a life of quiet bliss. Lucy sat in the still house in the tranquilly resounding corner, listening to the echoing footsteps of years. At first, there were times, though she was a perfectly happy young wife, when her work would slowly fall from her hands, and her eyes would be dimmed. For there was something coming in the echoes, something light, afar off, and scarcely audible yet. That stirred her heart too much. Fluttering hopes and due hopes of a love as yet unknown to her. Thus, of her remaining upon earth, to enjoy that new delight divide her breast. Among the echoes then, there would arise the sound of footsteps at her unearthly grave, and thoughts of the husband who would be left so desolate, and who would mourn for her so much, swelled to her eyes, and broke like waves. That time passed, and her little Lucy lay on her bosom, and among the advancing echoes, there was the tread of her tiny feet and the sound of her prattling words. Let greater echoes resound as they would. The young mother at the cradle side could always hear those coming. They came, and the shady house was sunny with a child's laugh, and the divine friend of children, to whom in her trouble she had confided hers, seemed to take her child in his arms, as he took the child of old, and made it a sacred joy to her, ever busily winding the golden thread that bound them all together, weaving the service of her happy influence through the tissue of all their lives, and making it predominate nowhere. Lucy heard in the echoes of years none but friendly and soothing sounds. Her husband's step was strong and prosperous among them, her father's firm and equal. Lo, Miss Purse, in harness of string, awakening the echoes, as an unruly charger, whip-corrected, snorting and pawing the earth under the plane tree in the garden, even when there were sounds of sorrow among the rest. They were not harsh nor cruel. Even when golden hair, like her own, lay in a halo on a pillow round the worn face of a little boy, and he said, with a radiant smile, "Dear Papa and Mama, I am very sorry to leave you both, and to leave my pretty sister, what I am called Mother's cheek," as the spirit departed from her embrace that had been entrusted to it. So for them and forbid them not. They see my father's face. O Father, blessed words, that the rustling of an angel's wings got blended with the other echoes, and they were not holy of earth, but had in them that breath of heaven. The sighs of the winds that blew over a little garden tomb were mingled with them also, and both were audible to Lucy. The little Lucy, comically studious at the task of the morning, or dressing a doll at her mother's footstool, chatted in the tongues of the two cities that were blended in her life. The echoes rarely answered to the actual tread of Sydney Carton. Some half-dozen times a year, at most, he claimed his privilege of coming in uninvited, and would sit among them through the evening, as he had once done often. He never came narrated with wine, and one other thing regarding him was whispered in the echoes, which has been whispered by all true echoes for ages and ages. No man ever really loved a woman, lost her, and knew her with a blameless though an unchanged mind, when she was a wife and a mother. But her children had a strange sympathy with him, an instinctive delicacy of pity for him. What fine hidden sensibilities are touched in such a case? No echoes tell. But it is so. And it was so here. Carton was the first stranger to whom little Lucy held out her chubby arms, and he kept his place with her as she grew. The little boy had spoken of him, almost at the last. But Carton was to. Stryver shouldered his way through the law, like some great engine forcing itself through turbid water, and dragged his useful friend in his wake, like a boat towed astern, as the boat so favoured is usually in a rough plight, and mostly underwater, though Sydney had a swamped life of it. But easy and strong custom, disgrace, made it the life he was to lead, and he no more thought of emerging from his state of lion's jackal than any real jackal may be supposed to think of rising to be a lion. Stryver was rich, had married a forward widow with property and 3 boys. He had nothing particularly shining about them but the straight hair of their dumpling heads. These 3 young gentlemen, Mr. Stryver, exceeding patronage of the most offensive quality from every pore, had walked before him like 3 sheep to the quiet corner in Soho, and had offered his pupils to Lucy's husband, delicately saying hello. Here are 3 lumps of bread and cheese towards your matrimonial picnic. Darnay, the polite rejection of the 3 lumps of bread and cheese had quite bloated Mr. Stryver with indignation, which he afterwards turned to account in the training of the young gentlemen, by directing them to beware of the pride of beggars, like that Ditterfellow. He was also in the habit of declaiming to my Stryver, full-bodied, wine on the arts mice catch him, and on the diamond cut diamond arts in himself, madam, rendered him not to be caught. Down. Of his King's Bench familiars, occasionally parties to the full-bodied wine and the lie. By saying that he had told this so often is surely such an incorrigible aggravation of an originally bad offence, any such offenders being carried after some suitably retired spot out of the way. These were among the echoes, to which Lucy, sometimes pensive, sometimes amused and laughing, listened. In the echoing corner, daughter was 6 years old. Child stood came, and those of her own dear fathers, self-possessed, and those of her dear husbands need not be told. Well, how the lightest to go of their united home, how wise and elegant thrift that it was, more abundant than any waste music to her, nor how there were echoes all about her, and hers found her more diverted. To him married, if that could be, than single, seemed to divide her love. For him or her helped him, her what is the magic secret? My darling, all of us, as if there were only one. Of us seeming to be hurried, but there were other. It goes from a distance. That rumbled menacingly in the corner all through this space of time. It was now about little Lucy's 6th birthday. An awful sound rising, on a night in mid-July 1789, Mr. Ori came in late. From Towson's and her husband in the dark window. It was a hot, wild night. Looked at the lightning from the same place. I began to think, said Mr. Lorry, pushing his brown wig back. Night at Towson's. We have been so full of business all day. We have not known what to do first, or which way to turn. There is such an uneasiness in Paris, confidence upon us. Our customers of where they confide their property to us fast enough. That has. A bad look, said Darnay. A bad look, you say, my. There, Darnay? Yes, don't know what reason there is in it. People are so unreasonable. Of us at Towson's are getting old. Still, said Darnay, I know that. To be sure, assent Mr. Ori's sweet temper was soured, and that he grumbled be. Peevish after my long day's botheration. Here he is, said the doctor, entering the dark room at the moment. I am quite glad you are it. Old. For these hurries and forebodings by which I have been surrounded all day. On. Have made me nervous without reason. You are not going out. No. I am going to play backgammon with you, doctor. I don't think I'd like, if I may speak my mind. To be continued.